It's funny how everyone else can look at your life and see something perfect, while you're the only one who feels the cracks forming underneath. That was me. For 3 years, I had been dating Daniel. To the outside world, we were the it couple, the ones who always smiled in pictures, who hosted dinner parties with perfectly lit candles in matching wine glasses. My friends would tease me, saying, "Girl, you better lock that man down. He's a keeper." And I believed it most of the time. He was charming, attentive in public, the kind of man who remembered birthdays and showed up with roses just because. But love has a way of blinding you, of convincing you that the little things, the late-night texts he never let me see, the sudden work emergencies that pulled him away, were just part of life. Still, the unease sat there, heavy in my chest. That night, we hosted another dinner party. Our living room was glowing with warm light, laughter echoing off the walls. Couples gathered around the table, sipping wine, trading stories about their week. Daniel was, as always, the star of the night, leaning back in his chair, flashing that movie star smile, his hand casually resting on mine as if to say, "See, she's mine. We're happy." I played along, smiling, laughing in all the right places. But inside, I felt detached, like I was watching a movie where the actors knew their lines, but not the truth. Halfway through dessert, my friend Rachel leaned over and whispered, "You two are so perfect together. Honestly, I hope I find love like this someday." Her words landed like a stone in my stomach. Perfect. Was that really what this was? Because lately, perfect felt more like pretending. Later that night, after the last guest left and the laughter had faded, I started clearing the dishes. Daniel kissed me on the cheek, muttered something about being exhausted, and disappeared into the bedroom. I stacked plates, rinsed glasses, trying to quiet the buzzing in my head. That's when I noticed his phone, carelessly left on the counter. The screen lit up with a new message. I shouldn't have looked. I told myself that, even as my hand hovered over the phone, heart pounding. But curiosity? No, not curiosity. Instinct. Instinct made me swipe the screen. The message was short. "I miss you. Can't wait to see you again." A heart emoji followed. My hands trembled so hard I nearly dropped the phone. It wasn't from me. I stood there, frozen, staring at the glowing screen. 1,000 thoughts crashed through my mind all at once. Who was she? How long had this been going on? Had every kiss, every laugh, every whispered "I love you" been a lie? I set the phone back down, carefully, as if it were a bomb about to explode. My chest felt tight, my throat dry. The room suddenly looked unfamiliar. Our framed photos on the wall, the throw blanket on the couch, the candles still flickering from the dinner party, all of it felt staged. A set built for a show I didn't want to star in anymore. In the bedroom, I could hear Daniel's steady breathing. He was asleep, peaceful, while my world had just tilted on its axis. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of our relationship in my head. Every time he had pulled away from me, every late night at the office, every excuse that I had swallowed, convincing myself I was just being paranoid. But I wasn't paranoid. I was right. And now I had proof. By morning, I had made a decision. I wasn't going to confront him yet, not until I knew the whole truth. I needed answers. I needed to uncover everything he thought he had hidden. Because what hurt the most wasn't the possibility of betrayal. It was knowing that the man I loved, the man everyone thought was perfect, might have built our entire relationship on lies. And once you see the cracks, you can't go back to pretending the picture's whole. The days that followed felt like living in a fog. On the surface, nothing had changed. Daniel still kissed me good morning, still sent me little texts during the day. How's work, beautiful? Still wrapped his arm around me when we walked into a room full of friends. To anyone else, we looked solid, unshakable. But inside, I was unraveling. Every smile he flashed felt like a mask. Every word sounded rehearsed. And all the while, that message burned in my mind. I miss you. Can't wait to see you again. I started paying attention. Really paying attention. When he said he had to work late, I noted the time he came home. The faint trace of perfume on his shirt that wasn't mine. When he claimed he was grabbing drinks with coworkers, I scrolled through his tagged photos online. He wasn't in any of them. When his phone buzzed, he'd pick it up faster than a reflex, tilting the screen away from me. The truth was clawing its way out piece by piece. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. He came home later than usual, loosening his tie, tossing his jacket onto the couch like it weighed 100 pounds. I was sitting there, waiting. No TV on, no phone in my hand, just silence. "Hey, babe," he said, forcing a smile. "Why are you up so late?" I stared at him, my voice steadier than I felt. "Who is she, Daniel?" He froze. Just for a split second, but I saw it. The flicker in his eyes, the way his jaw tightened. "Who's who?" he asked, too casually. "The woman who texts you at night, the one who says she misses you." His face drained of color. He opened his mouth, closed it, then finally let out a laugh that sounded forced. "Baby, come on, you're overthinking again. You know I love you." My hands balled into fists. "Don't you dare gaslight me. I saw the message. I've seen the signs. Stop lying." The room went still. His mask slipped. For a long moment, he just stood there, breathing hard. Then his shoulders sagged, and he dropped onto the couch, like a man defeated. "Her name's Melissa," he muttered, not looking at me. The sound of it was like glass shattering inside my chest. "How long?" I whispered. He rubbed his face with his hands. "A few months." "A few months?" My voice cracked. "So all this time, you were kissing me, holding me, making me believe I was your everything, and the whole time, you were with her?" "I didn't mean for it to happen," he said quickly. It just happened. She was there when things got stressful at work and—" "Don't," I snapped, my throat burning with tears. "Don't you dare make excuses. You had a choice. Every single time, you had a choice, and you chose to betray me." The silence between us stretched, heavy and suffocating. Finally, he whispered, "I love you. I never stopped loving you." I shook my head, tears streaming down my face. "You don't get to use that word. Love doesn't look like this. Love doesn't stab you in the back and then beg for forgiveness." He reached for me, but I pulled away like his touch was poison. My body trembled. My chest felt like it was caving in, but I held his gaze with all the strength I had left. "You broke us, Daniel,
and I don't know if I'll ever be able to look at you the same way again." That night, I locked myself in the guest room. I pressed my face into the pillow to muffle my sobs, shaking so hard I thought I'd split in two. I wanted to scream, to tear the walls down, to erase every memory we'd ever made. But the worst part, the part that hollowed me out completely, was the ache of still loving him, even as he destroyed me. Love doesn't vanish in an instant. Betrayal doesn't cancel it like a switch. It lingers, fights, claws at you. And that's what hurt the most. The next morning, Daniel tried to act like nothing had happened. He knocked on the door softly, offered to make breakfast, and even placed his hand on the knob like he wanted to walk in. I stayed silent. Because something inside me had shifted. The girl who believed in fairy tale endings, in perfect illusions, that girl was gone. All that was left was me. Broken, yes, but awake. And as I sat there in the silence, I realized something. This was only the beginning of the most challenging journey I'd ever take. Not the journey of fixing us, but the journey of finding me.
The morning after Daniel's confession, I felt like I had woken up inside someone else's body. My chest was heavy, my throat raw, my eyes swollen. Every corner of the house reminded me of him. His shirts in the closet, his toothbrush beside mine, the framed photo on the nightstand where we were smiling in Paris like a couple straight out of a romance novel. Only now I knew the truth. The smile had been fake, the love fractured, the life I thought we were building together, built on lies. For days, I drifted like a ghost. I went through motions, work, errands, social events, but inside, I was drowning. My friends noticed, of course. Rachel came over one night, armed with wine and ice cream, insisting I talk. "Girl, don't you dare let him turn you into a victim. You are stronger than this. You deserve better." I wanted to believe her, but heartbreak has a way of twisting your reflection in the mirror until you don't even recognize the person staring back. One night, I sat alone, scrolling through old photos of Daniel and me. At first, I cried, ugly, gut-wrenching sobs. But then, something inside me shifted. I zoomed in on his smile, the one I'd once adored. For the first time, I didn't see charm. I saw a liar, a manipulator, and anger. God, the anger came like wildfire. This wasn't just about heartbreak. He had stolen my trust, my time, my peace. He had stood beside me while promising forever, all while giving pieces of himself to someone else. And in that moment, a thought burned in my mind. If he could betray me so easily, why should I hand him the gift of walking away clean? Revenge wasn't about destroying him. It was about reclaiming me. I wanted him to feel the weight of what he had lost, to see the woman he thought he could break standing taller than ever. So I started small. Step 1, I pulled back. I stopped answering his texts right away, stopped playing the role of the broken girlfriend desperate for scraps of his affection. I dressed up for work, smiled more at strangers, and reconnected with friends. And I posted it all. Photos of me laughing at brunch, trying out salsa dancing, and taking weekend trips. Daniel noticed. The texts turned from casual to "hope you're having a good day" to "frantic, why didn't you answer?
Are you mad at me? Can we talk? I didn't reply. Not yet. Step 2, I gathered receipts. Every message I'd seen, every late-night lie, every trace of Melissa. I didn't need them for me anymore. I knew the truth. But I wanted him to know that I knew.
It was a Friday night when I finally set the stage. I invited Daniel over, pretending I wanted to talk things out. He showed up in a button-down shirt, looking nervous but hopeful. "Baby," he started the second he walked in. "I've missed you. I know I made a mistake, but we can fix it. We're meant to be." I let him speak, let him pour out rehearsed apologies, half-truths, the same empty promises I had once clung to. Then I placed his phone on the table, the same phone that had betrayed him the way he betrayed me. "Unlock it," I said. He froze. "What?" "Unlock the phone." He laughed nervously. "You don't trust me?" My voice was steady, cold. "You've given me no reason to." For a moment he tried to hold my gaze, but then he broke, tapping in the code. I scrolled, deliberately, opening messages, screenshots, and photos, each one confirming everything he had tried to deny. His face paled. I slid the phone back to him and leaned in. "You think I'm stupid? That I wouldn't figure it out? You didn't just cheat, Daniel. You underestimated me. That's worse." I stood, walking slowly around the table, my heels clicking against the hardwood floor. "Do you know what I've been doing while you were sneaking around? Rebuilding, planning, and making sure the next time you see me, you'll realize exactly what you lost." He frowned, confused. "What do you mean?" I smiled, a cold, sharp smile. "Check your email." He blinked, pulling out his phone. Within seconds, his face twisted, because sitting in his inbox were copies of every receipt, every text, every late-night call log, sent not just to him, but to Melissa, his boss, and a few mutual friends who always called us the perfect couple. He stammered, eyes wide. "Don't look at me like that," I cut in. "You built this mess. I just pulled the curtains back." He dropped into a chair, running his hands through his hair. "You ruined me." "No, Daniel," I whispered, leaning close enough for him to see the steel in my eyes. "You ruined yourself. I just made sure the world sees the truth." I expected to feel guilt, maybe shame. But as I watched him sit there small and broken in the wreckage of his own lies, all I felt was clarity. He wasn't my problem anymore. He was just a chapter I had survived. I grabbed my coat, slung it over my shoulder, and headed for the door. His voice cracked behind me. "Wait. Please, don't do this. I can change. I'll be better." I paused, hand on the knob, but I didn't turn around. "You had your chance. Now it's mine." And with that, I walked out. The weeks that followed were the hardest and the most freeing of my life. There were nights I still cried, mornings I still woke up hollow. Healing isn't instant. It's slow, uneven, like stitching up a wound that keeps reopening. But little by little, I rebuilt. Therapy helped. Journaling helped. My friends' laughter helped. But what helped most was realizing I was stronger than the pain he left me with. One evening, months later, I stood on my apartment balcony, watching the city lights flicker like stars scattered across the earth. For the first time, I felt whole again, not because I had found someone new, not because the pain was gone, but because I had reclaimed myself. And maybe that was the greatest revenge of all, living fully, joyfully, beautifully, after someone tried to break you. Betrayal didn't end me. It transformed me. I had uncovered the lies, endured the heartbreak, and delivered the closure he never expected. But most importantly, I had healed on my terms, in my power. And when I looked in the mirror now, I didn't see a woman broken by love. I saw a woman who had risen from the ashes, fiercer than ever. Because sometimes the sweetest revenge is becoming everything they said you couldn't without them.
If this story touched your heart, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more powerful stories every day.